Okay, the question is, who is crazy, who is mad? First of all, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a scientist. Okay, I'm a filmmaker. I'm a filmmaker, but I don't make fiction films. I don't know how to make fiction films. I make films that are documentary films, but mostly docudramas, which means I like to do films with people and not about people. Why did I do this film, Zalal, and talk about mentally challenged or mentally ill people? First of all, I was always been, all my life, very intrigued and puzzled by madness. I mean, I was always inspired by madness. I was always interested in what they call mad people. Maybe I was surrounded by some mad people in my family, I have no idea. But it did happen that I got exposed to this world. What is madness for me is being a little bit out of the box, is being a little bit daring, is being true with oneself. And it's not necessarily negative. I mean, for me, there is a positive note to madness. And I want to shock you even more that I feel that everyone has a little bit of madness in him, that everybody has a bit of psychosis. I don't want to use technical words, but you can express yourself, you know, the way you see it in a very, very personal manner. Okay, if I go back to the film, why did I do Zalal? Because I wanted to understand more about this world of madness. First of all, I wanted to understand myself, and this is why I started with myself, and then understand the people who are so-called mad. So I was very lucky because my late friend Nadine, her husband had just been appointed the secretary of the mental health in Egypt, and he was working in Abasseya. He's Dr. Nasser Loza, everybody knows him. He's a very prominent psychiatrist. And so I went to see him with Nadine, and I told him, why don't we make a film about the hospital? And I wanted to inspire him as much as I was inspired, because I had seen some films which were extremely interesting. I saw, references in films about madness, like Titicat Follies by Wiseman, like Saint-Clément by Depardon, like Être et Avoir by Nicolas Philibert, and another film which was made by an Algerian filmmaker called Alienation, and the director is Malik Ben Ismail. And I thought that one was extremely interesting to me because it was an Arab society. It was a psychiatric hospital in an Arab society. So this was the most inspiring film to me. And I gave those films to Dr. Nasser Loza, and I told him, this is what I want to do. I mean, I don't want to do films, about the institution. I want them to be their own narrators. I want them to talk about their own lives. I mean, we don't want to do a film about them, but with them. Nasser, I say Nasser because he's also a friend. He would have never accepted to give me the permits otherwise. But anyway, Dr. Nasser accepted, and all of a sudden, I found myself at the hospital, okay, with all the permits. I bought a camera. I bought very good sound, and all of a sudden, I was scared. It was a huge responsibility for me just to film, to have this exceptional access to the hospital, and start filming the people all by myself. So I was a little bit scared of this experiment, and I went to a friend of mine who was also a filmmaker. He passed away, Mustafa Hasnawi, and I told him I had access to the hospital, I want to do the film, and do you want to share this experience with me? And he said yes. We had the same taste in cinema, we had a very close sensitivity, and he accepted, and he was my partner on this journey. Anyway, we went into the hospital, and I must tell you, it was extraordinary for me. It was such a good place to be in. The people were there. They were fantastic human beings. They were fantastic people. We did not look at people who could not express themselves well, but we we tried to create a relationship with people who could express themselves well. So we had, for example, a boy who was almost in his 20 years old, and he was talking about a lot. Very often there was this father-son relationship that was very important in most of the cases. So that boy was complaining that his father did not ask about him, and that he was a drug addict, actually, and he used to come and leave the hospital a lot. Another character is a girl, a woman, and she spoke about her sexuality, but she spoke about her sexuality in a way where she used to say, I mean, my husband is stingy, not with his money, but he's stingy with his feelings, that he doesn't give me enough attention, he doesn't give me enough care. And then there were other cases like women, much elderly women. So through the characters, we decided that we want to diversify, have elder women, elder men, younger people, and also to be able to, because through these characters, you could understand a lot about the Egyptian society. So we wanted to diversify also in the religion. Some were Copts, a lot of them were Copts, some were Muslims. And we wanted to tell the film like a cycle, which was one journey, which means going into the hospital, and this is people who go sometimes they go just for the day, and then others, the other part of the film is settling in, and the third part of the film is attempts to go out, because what we have noticed that a lot of these people were there for many, many, many years, and if legally today they can come out, they don't want to come out. Why? Because they created their own community. They can eat, they can drink, they have bonds with their friends, they can talk, they can communicate. So they are happy actually. They don't want to go out anymore. I mean, we came across cases that had two brothers that were there for many, many years, and then at the end one of them was able to leave, and the doctor is asking him, "Do you want to leave? You can leave. Do you want to leave?" And he said, "What am I going to do outside the hospital?" And he had a job in the hospital. Actually, he's a shoe shiner, and he used to, shine the shoes of everyone in the hospital. And he told him, "Yeah, but if you can work outside the hospital, you can make £1,000 a month." But he said, at the end, we feel no answer, and the guy stayed at the hospital. So if you want to see more about the film, I invite you to see it. It's called Zalal. It's, the distribution is a little bit difficult regarding those kinds of films in Egypt, but it should be online very soon. Okay, what I want to say that when we talk about madness, what I wanted to share with you today was my own experience with madness, which means that as someone who has shared this experience with so many people in the hospital, I can tell you that there is no mental illness. There is people with mental illness. And these people, they could be your friend, your father, your daughter, your son, your neighbor. So one should I invite you to see them clearly, with honesty, with love and compassion. This is what I wanted to say. Thank you for listening.